Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Ooh, I've been on the flex since flex zone. Neighborhood all in your eardrums. I ain't never scared like Bone Crush. Boy, I got God, don't fear none. My line busy, take no calls. Feels like I don't have no flaws. Snakes in the grass, cut those off. Yo, squad shitty, my bros raw. No breaks, we go, 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 go. Throw shade, that's a no, 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 no. Go high, go low, low, low. Like spinning in a 644. Cash money like 504. Ball like AD 24. No sleep, need more, more, more. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Ooh, I'm a real one, my day ones. Try speak up, can't say none. Try dig dirt, there ain't none. I make the money that save up. 10 to 80, my save ones. Take to the top on the baseline. New car, race on. Fast lane, pace on. With the booyah, that's a flex. Not human, I am from another planet. I'ma teleport, might vanish. I'ma wake up, do damage.
Hello, everyone. Welcome into CCF Podcast. How is everyone doing? Let's say hi to. Let's say, hey, Tony. What's been on your plate?
Just running around the entire state watching football. Got to spend a interesting Friday the 13th up in Boulder, and then had a nice palate cleanser down in Colorado Springs with my friend Rick, watching a little Air Force football. So, tell us about your weekend, Rick.
Well, I needed a palate cleanser after watching the fourth quarter into overtime with your Colorado Buffaloes. So, yes, we had an amazing time. It was a roller coaster game, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. And, I one of the things that I saw this weekend, and Tony, maybe you can elaborate, is the message is getting out about the Colorado Collegiate Focus. People are coming up to us. People are commenting. People are waiting for this to drop. So really excited. So much good feedback on the Brad Roberts cast last week. We're going to do a little more Air Force here for the next couple of weeks, and then we're going to transition with some of our other stuff with you guys. Yeah,
it was awesome to be there up at the stadium and have people, I'm a pretty personable guy, so I'll walk up, I'll be like, hey, I'm Tony, nice to meet you. Be like, I know, you're from the podcast with Rick. It was pretty cool. Great. Felt like a little mini celebrity there.
And for me, just looking at you guys after, just seeing the photos after, obviously everyone looked at those, loved those photos, but there was, Tony, your beard, it looked like it had some icicles in it. What was going on?
It was chilly. It was a chilly night.
But how does it get a little bit, how does it get icicle?
I don't know. I did enjoy a few of the adult beverages, so maybe when we were celebrating some of the touchdowns, it might have gotten sprayed around a bit. So who knows? Who knows what happened there?
Yeah. So guys, you ready to go in and talk to some Colorado Collegiate football?
Yeah.
Hold on. You've only given us 2/3 of the picture. How was your weekend, and what did you think with the Hail Mary?
Oh, my weekend was pretty horrible. I mean, it was I'll leave it out for everyone, but it was just not personally great for me, which hey, at least I was asleep and missed a great deal of bad football from some teams though. But otherwise, I was just sick. But
I'm glad you're better.
Thank you. It's glad to be better and kind of be able to go out again and not feel like I don't want to get anyone sick because it's that world today.
All right. Well, let's kick it off. We got a bunch of stuff going on today, so let's tie up that turd on Friday the 13th. Go ahead, drop it.
Yeah, we had a rough Friday night into Saturday morning. It was looking great for about, let's call it 25 minutes because, everyone will say that we had a great first half. There was something that I saw at the end of that first half that gave me some pause, but we'll get into that. The Buffs came out on fire. Basically Stanford could not do anything with the ball. We basically moved the ball at will. The running game looked great. Shedeur was scrambling all over the field, pretty much hit any target he wanted. We even saw a 2-point conversion out of the swinging gate at one point. And I had a little bit of a pause. There was a moment right there at the end of that first half where Colorado, because of a very bad punt, got the ball at the Stanford 33. And what would become a running theme for the evening actually moved backwards because of penalties, holding, a false start, a couple of different things. And we missed a field goal. That would have made it 32-0. And from there, it just kind of snowballed. Stanford scored a touchdown coming out of their first possession of the second half, missed the 2-point conversion. Colorado failed to convert a fourth down. Colorado got the ball first, failed to convert a fourth down. Stanford went down and scored. We drove it a little bit, had a great punt. Downed it at their 3-yard line. And boom, before you could know it, 97-yard touchdown. There was a really weird thing that happened there. When you look at it's classic Friday the 13th. When you look at the two possessions where Stanford was able to make it go from a 29-6 to a 29-19 game, they held the ball for 36 seconds and scored on a 97-yard touchdown pass and a 60-yard touchdown pass. So in 36 seconds of game time with a couple of possessions in between, you go from a 29-6 game to a 29-19, and oh crap, you're right in against a team that has all the momentum, everything going for it.
Were some of these corners or defensive backs kind of put on an island themselves, and that kind of led to some of the issues? What would you think led to some of those big plays where you don't see guys, being able to even touch each other and get in the way enough to even start to have gang tackling?
Yeah, most definitely. I think this is one of those things. This is the first time we really saw a lot of zero coverage out of CU, which for those who are not familiar with what zero coverage means is you're basically blitzing everyone and assigning one-on-one matchups with the corners and the wide receivers or linebacker and the tight end, whatever it is. There's no safety help over the top. We definitely played zero coverage on that 97-yard touchdown because, as you could see, he breaks the tackle of our corner and there's no one there. You just go, oh crap, he's going to the house. So, it's nice to see us mixing up coverages, but I think, we did rely a lot on that zero coverage, especially in that second half, to try and swing momentum back, because you could definitely feel it. When it got to be 29-19, when it got to be 29-26, you could hear a pin drop in Folsom. And that has not been commonplace for Folsom Field this year. It was very, very quiet. So, as I said, Stanford was able to make it a 3-point game. Colorado was able to get a little bit of momentum back. All of a sudden, looked again like the first quarter, just boom, 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 right down the field, scored a touchdown, made it a 10-point game again. But they just could not make the plays to put Stanford away. And it's kind of become a theme of this year's team, especially on the defensive side of the ball, when really you have an opportunity to step on someone's neck and really end a game. Colorado just hasn't learned how to do that. And Coach Sanders pretty much said as much in the post-game press conference that they just don't know how to put a game away, don't know how to win a game the right way right now. And it was a meltdown of epic proportions.
Now, Tony, you alluded to the post-game presser, which I actually said a little prayer for you heading into that thing. I can say that I haven't been 100% sold on Coach Sanders. I've always thought there was maybe too much flash and little too much prime and a lot of NIL, etc. But I'm telling you, in his biggest moment of defeat, admittedly, the man was cordial, he was professional, and my whole opinion of him on that one instance has completely flip-flopped. I am a primetime guy. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, it was actually really cool to see, kind of getting something good out of a moment of bad. because, I remember us texting after the game, and I remember you even making the comment that he specifically said, I owe it to you guys in the media. I owe it to you fans to come out here and talk about what just happened. And I mean, you could tell he was seething. He was pissed off. And he said as much. He was struggling to find his words and really just more expressive than you've seen him. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Rick. It was a great moment of clarity in a really bad situation that had just happened. So yeah, I mean, as you can see, I mean, it's one of those things. It's like we talked about with the Utah State game. And yes, CU blew a much bigger lead than CSU ever did, but it's growing pains. These are young teams. These are teams that have just been put together on the fly. And this is a growing pain that's going to absolutely knock you on your ass. But we got to wait a long time to see how CU is going to respond to it. Obviously, they get a whole bye week. It was pretty impressive to see actually on Saturday, instead of them having the day off, he called a full team practice. So he was ready to get back and working. But yeah, it was a rough night. And it's the biggest lead that CU has ever let up in the history of their program. So it's a historic collapse. And we'll be anxiously waiting to see how the team responds to it. Were you guys watching? I know, John, you had made the comment that I think that a lot of people had made to us, that you were feeling good. It was late at night, whatever the reason may be. That at 29-0, you fall asleep and you wake up in the next morning going, what the hell just happened?
That's what happened to me. The exact thing that happened to me. I was like, I just need to rest my eyes for a second. It'll help me feel better. Just relax a minute. Then I was not, then I wake up and the game's over. And I have a few messages on my phone, kind of ignore it, just getting up. And then I just see it there on the screen, and I just couldn't believe it. It blew my mind, honestly. I called my sister to confirm if she saw it as well. She was like, "Yep, they did lose actually," and I was just blown back. That's one of those things where it's special in a sense.
Yeah, it was historic, and it's sad to say because we've lived through the 2010 collapse against Kansas, where they let up a 28-point lead. We've lived through the 2018 collapse through Oregon State, where it was another 28-point lead. This felt worse to me because this team.
I'm sorry to speak over you, but it feels so important for this team to make sure that they are bowl bound. I think again that's the goal where we are at. I think at least between the three of us, that's the goal for CU, and they shouldn't really be thinking about something like the playoffs or anything beyond that. So again, just getting better, and they will be able to. So I'm very excited for that, and I think they'll get some better things going for them.
Yeah, I think so. Okay,
perfect time for a bye week.
It is. Yes, they need to look inward and see what's going on because it was rough. It was rough. John, you're on mute.
So just what are your thoughts on the penalties? And we've seen some be very high. Some, for me, it's been unacceptable. Most of them, too high, too many. Just aggression. Sometimes getting aggression out for aggression's sake.
Yeah, it was disconcerting. You get penalized 17 times in a game. It's not good. That's way too undisciplined. And especially from a coach, that's one of the things he preaches, fast, tough, disciplined with character. They have not been disciplined over the last couple of weeks. And what's been disconcerting to see it is they were so disciplined to start the season. When you look at that TCU game, I think that they had 6 penalties or something on the entire game, something very manageable. But when you're in the high double digits, when you're approaching 20 penalties, it's unacceptable. And it literally eliminated scoring chances. When you look at it in a 3-point overtime game, if you don't get that false start and that holding on that drive where said you started on 33, you're not losing that game in regulation. So, you never think about that up 29-0. You definitely think about that when you lose 46-43 in overtime.
Yikes. Well, I'll tell you, I'm glad you get a chance to rest a little bit. We We got to keep moving today. We got a guest coming up in a little bit. So let's hear about the CSU miracle.
I made the switch this time. I forgot the first time. Hey, we're going to get it down where it becomes natural, and I'm going to do it every time. We'll get there. We'll just wait with me.
Live broadcasting, baby.
Exactly. So I hope you enjoyed that little transition, though. I do love these. So big up to Mike for making those from MHRT. CSU, man, what a wild, crazy game for me with CSU. It really was one of those where it felt like early on, nothing was going on really. To me, it felt like there was a lot of, not. I don't think mistakes is the right word. I just felt like each team wasn't taking advantage of their opportunities, I guess. So that was kind of.
Did it feel kind of like your classic Colorado State versus Boise State game, where I know this has been a rough series for Rams fans, and I'm not trying to dredge up the past, but to me, it looked like that standard. Okay, Boise's going to win by 10, and not really much we could do about it.
Yeah, I assume, especially from, the fan level, that can be preached definitely onto the players, and they hear all that. They go to classes, they go everywhere, and they hear that. And I don't know if there's a trophy associated with this game. There probably should be, just because I think this is a good rivalry. But again, when it came to Boise State, this is their second loss, I think. So they really did beat a good team, Colorado State, for when they had their loss. For that, their win, But besides that, there was a lot of impressive plays from Colorado State. I think the one thing that everyone noticed was the Hail Mary at the end of the game. That's kind of one of the key plays, obviously. I have it here. Let me see if I can show a second of it. If you guys talk among yourself while I try to get this up.
So, I mean, this is, and I'm gonna preach ignorance because I was driving home from Colorado Springs at the time. This is one of those things where, I was kind of checking the scores, kind of like, we had talked about with you, John, not feeling well, where I was checking the score and I look, I'm like, okay, it's 30-10. Okay. It's probably over. And I pretty much forgot about it. And then all of a sudden I crawl into bed and I'm like, they won? What the heck is going on? It was kind of like almost an inverse of what you're seeing at the CU game, that you're like, holy crap, this is just another one of those weird Friday the 13th moments that happened to bleed over into the 14th. But it was weird. It was weird to see it and be like, oh my God, what a comeback. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, definitely. And let's watch that play real quick. Let me get it up here. Let's add it to our stage. Thank you guys for being patient. We'll go through this quickly without sound. Oh, great.
And the guy that we have been singing the praises of all year.
Yes.
I mean, of course, it's going to be Holker that comes down with that ball. That guy has just been making play after play after play this year. And you could just see it, man. He is in perfect position. Yes. It's how you're always taught. You're supposed to be ready for the deflection. That's for those that are new to football. This is a perfect representation of how the Hail Mary is supposed to work. What's supposed to happen is you're supposed to have your jumpers, guys that leap big, hopefully knock it. If they can go up and catch it, great. But if they're coming up and being able to hit it down, you want to have that guy in rebound position. And Holker did probably exactly as he's coached and was just in perfect position to catch that ball.
And more importantly, he did the old box out. Did you see him boxing out?
Yes, yes.
There definitely was a guy
there. A
little
bit of Antonio Gates for me, kind of feeling, just, thinking of a guy who boxed out his body, who had a big frame, that kind of thing. But yeah, he enjoy being that role. That's fun, honestly, to be the guy to do that. So yeah, I really enjoyed this game. I really did not think CSU was going to be able to, come back, honestly, when the way things were going. It just did not feel. It felt like the end when you're down by 6, and you have to rely on 3 plays. most guys give up. Obviously, that's very impressive that Coach Norvell and his team did not. That's one of those big things in terms of getting your team to work harder, getting them to respect you more. Those kinds of things that will make a team better. That's what I like to see.
It's definitely one of those building block wins. I had made the comment. It's one of those things where it's big. You check it off the list. You've beaten Boise State. That yes, they're 3-4 on the season. They haven't been as big as they've been in past seasons, but you've finally gotten that win. You've been able to slay the dragon. This is one of those things where you could build off of that, and maybe they could run to a bowl. We were looking at it. God, 2-4 start. That's probably not going to get you to a bowl. Now all of a sudden, the path's right in front of you there. They could definitely make a run at a bowl if they could string together another couple of these really big wins. This could be that stepping stone win that this team really needed.
Yeah, and what are your thoughts about making this team run a little bit more?
Oh man, it's the same thing as CU. I feel like it's such a contrast for our teams versus what we see down in Colorado Springs. Just not being able to rely on a consistent run game puts you behind. It puts you behind the 8 ball all the time.
Yeah, we've talked about it with CSU. When they're not able to run, there is issues going on. And when you're relying with your quarterback to be your biggest runner during the day, you have another big issue going on there. Obviously, Sanders was great at getting out of bounds. I saw him do that quite a bit. He was efficient in his running plays. But at the same time, I don't want to have my star quarterback out there with his frame kind of just open for a shot under the ribs, something that can take him out for a couple weeks and have factors that play on a little bit later going on to the season.
Absolutely. Yeah, you see a lot of parallels. When you have to put it on his shoulders, when there is no threat of a running attack, we see it in CSU, we see it in CU. You have a lot of issues where he's going to get hit a lot. And not only that, but on a 4th and 4 or a 4th and 3, like CU's trying to pick up, if you have no threat of a run, they could pin their ears back. You could see it. They were bringing 6-7 guys in both of those 4th down plays, and his offensive line just doesn't have a chance when you bring that many guys. When you're trying to get guys out into the route tree and pick up a first down like that, it's really disconcerting. It's one of those things where they have to have some kind of consistent run game between both the Buffs and the Rams if they want to get to where they ultimately want to be, which is on that bowl stage.
Yeah, speaking of running, which team do you think is kind of between CSU and CU is kind of handling it a little bit better? Where we know, like you were saying, we knew both teams were going to be rough. I feel like CSU has kind of at least pushed themselves to be a little bit better for kind of grinded it out really hard compared to CU. I feel like they're going with the same game plan pretty much every game. Say a few guys are going to start and then you never see them, that kind of stuff. And it feels like a lot of optics when it comes to the running backs, and it doesn't really tell the story of the game really when it comes to CU's running backs.
Well, yeah. And I think there's a little bit of a difference there. I would say the more effective, and it's not been that effective, but the more effective run game has come out of Colorado. But as far as like the team that's been more consistent in trying to run the ball, it's been the Rams. Yeah. So you could see it where if they actually put that consistency in trying to get the running game going, obviously it's hard when you have the leading passer in the entire country. You want to be able to huck the ball around the field. But if you have that consistent push and that mentality that we're going to run the football, like CSU seems to have, like we're going to run the football, whether we get 2 yards a carry, whatever, we're going to try and run the football. I would like to see that a little more out of CU, honestly.
Yeah, and again, like I said, with when it comes to CSU, since we'll just kind of piggyback and finish off here, they're running the ball, and in terms of what they've been able to do, it's really for me, I look at what they did this game, for example, they made 2 yards per carry average, so it just feels wrong in many ways. It feels like at some point BFN is going to take some shots. I mean, they got to protect him. I know Bill Best is very excited about some of the offensive linemen he's recruited, but that's still, 2 years away, let's say. So really, I'm worried about Fowler Nicolosi's protection going on forward, even against a UNLV.
Yeah, totally agree. All right, well, we only have a few minutes until we're going to get our guest. Why don't we try and sneak in a little Air Force stuff here?
Let's do it. By the way, I think this blue and white one background, it pops the most out of all of them.
It does.
So nice.
I like it. So I think we're going to mix it up just a little bit. I think I'm going to do the Air Force review and preview all at once. I know we got a very busy man backstage, and we have some questions for him, and he's got some amazing information for us.
Ooh.
So I would like to introduce and I call him Matt, but you can call him Dr. Matt McGahey, the Senior Associate Athletic Director for your United States Air Force Academy. And in this case, the Air Force Falcons welcome him, and we welcome him. Take it away, John.
Welcome, Dr. Matt. How are you doing today? I unfortunately can't hear right now. But the question for you, Doctor, is, just about recruiting in general. It seems like you guys have so many recruits that genuinely want to come to Air Force, be a part of the program. It's kind of their dream, a lot of these guys. These are the people that are seen at Harvard, Yale, all these other places as their offers, and they choose Air Force because they can get a degree in something that is a C-suite level kind of deal, something like head of a CEO of some of these companies, especially when it comes to selling goods and purchasing them, really, when it comes for the Air Force. So that's kind of what I thought. Yeah. So, is the doc going to be in here today?
I think we're having some technical issues, fans.
That's
Sorry,
okay.
Just figuring out this live stream. Yeah, I don't see any video or can't hear him. So
that is an issue. We need to hear. I mean, we don't need video because we've done some radio, Tony. I mean, you as well, Rick. Where hey, please take away the video. I'm tired. I don't want to get.
I don't want to see this.
I don't want to see my face. We all have been there. There's been times when you've all been on. I'm sure a lot of you too that are watching do some pods or here or there. Join someone's. It's art. It takes time to learn.
Now, Tony, is it showing that he's backstage?
I am not seeing him backstage.
I
no.
am not seeing him backstage
Okay,
either.
so I sent him the link, and he messaged me that he's backstage. We got a couple different options. I can definitely call him, and we can do it that way.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can see another link here. Let me see if I can try this.
Ooh, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, let me see if I try sending him that, Rick. Just as we work on that, just as far as the actual.
Is that just on this one, or would you put that on our group chat for?
I put it on the private chat here in the channel here.
All right, put it on X real quick.
Okay, let me send it to you. But as we're working on that, just to get into the game just a little bit, what we did see there was an absolutely incredible football game between two really good teams. It wasn't really the spread that I was expecting. I think Air Force was an 11-point favorite, somewhere along those lines, or 10-point favorite. But man, I was really impressed with how Wyoming came to play, especially in that first half. You could see they jumped out to that 14-0 lead. And I was kind of making that joke to Rick where he was kind of like, I think the tortoise is going to be okay. And I don't think anyone at Air Force wants to be called the tortoise. It's just a reference, guys. But, they are the true tortoise and the hare, where even if a team is able to race out, they're going to keep coming at you, and they're going to keep punching you in the mouth. So it was great to see them tie up the score. They got a very valuable score at the end of the half. Again, late half play between CU and Air Force was night and day different. You see that drive that I've talked about. We don't have to relive it anymore, fans. But you see Wyoming score a touchdown, and you only have a couple minutes left, which is not where Air Force usually likes to live. They're not a team that can go really fast. They get some big plays, especially in the passing game, in order to kick that field goal right at the end of the half. Very, very important. It's one of those things. The atmosphere of the game was absolutely electric. The fans were ready to go. Everyone who was coming up and talking to us was just ready to go. It was a great atmosphere, and it was really fun to see. It was awesome. I was fully impressed, and I am so happy because during that 14-point lead, Rick kept threatening that if he lost, it was on me and I wouldn't be able to come back. So I'm very happy that I'm allowed back in Falcons Stadium.
Yeah, guilty. So while we're waiting for Dr. Matt to get on, I just sent him our latest update.
He's here. Do you want me to pull him in? He's
here.
here. Yeah, let's pull him in.
Bring him in.
There
Hello,
he
doctor.
is. We got it.
Better late than never, guys.
Oh, man. Hey, that's okay. That's what happens when you do live TV, Matt.
Well, fair statement, Rick. I'm not going to argue that. You guys are the pros here, right?
Semi-pros. Yeah, semi.
Minor leagues, big leagues, it's A, right? It's all the same.
As long as we're in the game.
So, guys, let's introduce you guys to Matt, and we'll kind of hear we got so much good news coming out of USAFA.
My name is Jonathan Cronenberg. I've done some stuff with SI in regards to the Denver Broncos. I've done some radio with Mile High Sports as well, covering, obviously the Buffaloes, Air Force, as well as CSU. So we kind of covered everyone in that time. And since then, I just kind of wanted to do things a little bit more my way and, kind of built a group that is really great, honestly.
Hey, Matt, I got to meet you for just a few minutes during your busy day on Saturday, but my name is Tony Casolo. I cover the Colorado Buffaloes through Buffaloes Wire, usatoday.com, and I've done a little bit of radio with John over there. That's how we got linked up, and now you get to meet us here. Thank you for having us on. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, I do too. And me, of course, Matt knows I am the resident Air Force super fan. And I am also doing a little bit of stuff to support the team. And in doing so, we've got a lot of good things going on. First and foremost, Matt, talk about your 6-0 Air Force Falcons.
Yeah, fantastic start to the year, right? I mean, hard to imagine it getting much better than it is, right now. I think our guys are, they're playing well. I think the chemistry out there has just been unbelievable all season long. At home, on the road, the environment in Falcon Stadium last Saturday night was electric. You guys were there. That place was rocking, and deservedly so, right? I mean, that was big time college football, and both of those teams played really, really well. A lot of drama late. Certainly glad that we came out on top and were able to defend the home turf, and it's got our guys in a position to continue to get out there for opportunity number 7, right? And I think that's what it is. It's day to day. It's one at a time, and that's where our team is. I think that mentality and that focus of taking it one game at a time is, going to give us a chance to try to keep this thing rolling this week at Navy, which they're gonna get up for us, right? I mean, regardless of how people's seasons are going or what the experts think. I mean, this is a service academy game, and a lot of pride on the line for both teams, and we're going to need to go out there and play really well to win.
You bring it up just a little bit there, but talk to us about the atmosphere of a service academy game. For those who have never been able to experience, what is that atmosphere like? What is it like in the stadium when two service schools go at it?
Well, I'm still the new guy here, right? I mean, I'm just over a year on the job, so I've had an opportunity to see Navy here at home at Falcon Stadium. I've had an opportunity to see, Army down in Texas at the Commanders Classic, and hey, I'll just tell you, they're both awesome, right? I mean, I think the pageantry of what that is, seeing cadets and athletes that are playing for way more than just college football and what that is. I mean, it's about service to our country. It's about representing the academy in a first class and high integrity way. When you look at the pride that goes into it from, both fan bases, it's hard to imagine anything being better than that. Right. So I think, the expectations of, how we want to go out there and play on Saturday. And then again, 2 weeks after that up in Denver at Mile High, we're excited about the opportunity to continue to play well and represent USAFA and represent the Air Force and everybody who loves and cares about this place. It's special. I'll tell you, there's nothing like it, right? I mean, we've all been to, big time college football games at, every level all over the country. And, there's just something different about Service Academy games. It feels like it just means a little bit more.
You bring up that, it's hard to look a couple weeks down the road, but how big is it to experience that kind of game in a stadium as big as Mile High Stadium there in Denver?
Sure.
Do something a little more neutral surface and just fun atmosphere there.
Yeah, well, we've been working on this one for a long time. I mean, it's amazing the amount of, effort and planning and communication. And I mean, I've got an email queued up right here. I mean, we're going to go, be at the Broncos game when they play the Packers on Sunday, just to check it out and make sure that, everything that we've planned on, we're going to look at it one last time with a full house. And, the Broncos have been amazing. They've been great to work with. They've been incredibly accommodating. But anytime you're planning an event of this caliber or this scale at a place that's not yours, we've sold the tickets like they're ours. We're treating it like a home game, the fan experience, all of the things outside the stadium, the game day experience, related things with our corporate partners, and, all of that activation. I mean, that's ours, right? But it's not as easy as, going down the road here across campus and making sure that it's right. So it just takes a lot of attention to detail. We're excited about it. We're looking forward to it. There's a ton of hype. Ticket sales are great. We're just over 36,000 right now. I'm looking at the ticket report from this morning. So I anticipate that's going to continue to grow. And we're going to put ourselves in a position to go out and win another big game.
That's awesome. You mentioned the stadium. I hadn't been there in about a year. I was down there for the CU Air Force game, and things were drastically different. So you got a lot of construction going on there. Why don't you take us through what's going on there, Matt, and what are the opportunities that are coming out of that?
Sure. And that's why we're going to Denver, right? I think, there's been a lot of conversation about, why are we taking this game to Denver? Well, we're doing it to ensure that the fan experience is the best it can be. There's a lot of unknown going into this with the construction project that we're currently working on the east side. I mean, it's impactful. It's huge. You got a chance to see it. So there was a ton of unknown, a year ago when we announced this game. And so, for us, we knew we could go up there and maximize the attendance. We knew we could go up there and maximize the revenues. And there were some controllables there that, were just a little bit easier, right? Even as challenging or as complicated as I just described, this one being, on the road, right, up in Denver, there were some things we knew we could count on just as we were getting started with this construction project. But this club is coming along. As you saw, Tony, it's starting to come out of the ground, right? We've got steel from the back of one end zone all the way up to the 50. I was over there today talking with some guys just about what the next couple of months will look like. Really excited, to watch it over the next month as we prepare to get back in Falcons Stadium, one last time to play UNLV on one last regular season game on the 18th. Because I think what people are going to see between Wyoming and UNLV is going to be drastically different, just like it has been all year. I mean, our fans have had a front porch seat to all of this construction, and we're just getting started.
Yeah, and I saw some of those renders. They were absolutely beautiful. I'm excited for what's coming in that east box. Can you tell us a little more about what that's going to look like when it's all completed and ready to go?
It's going to be incredible. I mean, it's a $90 million project, guys. It's big time. So it's a partnership with the Air Force Academy Foundation in terms of the funding model that we're using. They're doing some privately fundraised dollars for about a third of it. We're debt servicing the other 2/3 and using our premium seating sales to help pay those bills. There's going to be 850 indoor premium club seats or indoor premium seats, 4 different options of seating in there. It will be the best sporting experience that you can watch in all of Colorado Springs. What we're building is going to be incredibly first class. We're excited because of the positioning of the East Club. It's going to hang out over the existing lower level East Side seats. So it's going to give us an opportunity from a fan perspective to create a sightline that no one has ever experienced before. I mean, we've got great old bones to Falcon Stadium, but the opportunity to add these premium seats, decrease our capacity a little bit. Those are the national trends. You guys know that. But we're really excited about what this looks like. The response from our fans has been incredible. I mean, we're selling these seats every single day. 2 weeks ago, we announced that we were over 50% sold on the premium club seats, which are the seats that have the greatest proximity to the 50-yard line within the club. Since that announcement, we've sold probably 20% more. So we've got more information coming in terms of those announcements and the timelines and, our initial priority deadline for folks to make their commitment with us by November 1st. So the response has been unbelievable. The food, the beverage, everything that's going to be included in there is going to be fantastic. Parking will be right outside the main entrance. It's the front porch. It's that Falcon Stadium deserves.
Now, is this going to be a stadium where you can have, like you said, maybe a lot of concerts, other things going on besides, just football and sports? Is that an option for the stadium?
Absolutely. So part of the construction project includes an expansion of our north tunnel. So that expansion has taken place. There still needs to be some grade work to change the angle for a semi-truck to be able to access the field. But prior to this, that was not possible. So when you look back at major concert events or the NHL game that we hosted here years ago, logistically, that made things really tough, right? So the goal is by expanding the tunnel, changing the angle, we can get a truck down there, which will help expedite the load in and load out process for concerts and other major entertainment events. So, our plan is to host a handful of those every single year. In addition, we hope to have 200 plus events within the East Club that people can, host business functions, weddings, receptions, obviously, all of our Air Force athletics related events, things here at USAFA. It will be, it's going to be a space that people can rent, but a space that I think will be, pretty coveted in terms of, opportunities to host things for, business or personal. So that's certainly the vision as we look out, and obviously a great way to engage the Colorado Springs community and all of Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, you were very honest there when you said, yeah, this is great for business people. They're going to want to take their family, and while they're doing some business, have the kids enjoy something and really, to have a story when you're done. So I really like that. I think that's a great idea when you're able to have that with your kids and be able to do business or whatever it may be. That is a great thing.
Yeah, definitely. I'll tell you what, and we talked about it this year, Matt, with this podcast having CSU, CU, and Air Force, and all these clubs are competitive finally, and that same kind of culmination is coming up at the Air Force Academy. This is the perfect time for this. I know on our page we're going to run the promo next couple weeks about information for the East Side renovation. If people want to put in, you'll see me there. I cannot not be a part of this.
Well, we're excited about it. It certainly will be the place to be. I think what's cool about the East Club and, where we are from a sales perspective, we've engaged a whole new demographic with this. I mean, yes, there's grads. Yes, there's people who have been longtime Air Force fans, and that's awesome. But we're tapping into new markets in the business community for people that are moving to Colorado Springs. I mean, I sold seats to somebody that's moving here from San Francisco. They've never been to an Air Force game, in their life, but we hit it off on the phone, and they're going to be with us next year. So it's amazing to me the number of people that are new to Air Force, but recognize the elite level at which we're performing and the experience that they know they can have here at Air Force with high level college football. And then, from an entertainment or business value, it's worth the investment.
This is the perfect storm, Matt. We've got a team that's number 22 in the nation, that's winning one game at a time. I want to grow this fan base in the Colorado Springs, Denver metro area, and I want these people to see what we can only describe. Because, Tony, if we tell people what it's like there, they're thinking, yeah, you guys are
yeah.
No, seriously, when I was at Boulder, everyone would say, they're not as beautiful as us. It's CU. Look at these rocks. And it's one of those things. Yes, CU is very beautiful, but it's one of those things where when you get to the Air Force Academy, it is a different experience. It is special. Rick, I've told you this many times. Speaking to the players, how they're so I wouldn't say reserved, but just they know how to do the things the right way, make me feel special. It's amazing how these recruits kind of just develop over time. Yeah. And do you think that this, the new stadium's going to offer any opportunities for these players in terms of, being able to get out more or something like that? So to get more work done?
I mean, I think there's a lot of opportunities, when we look at this project and the impact it can have. I think for us, there's been an increased focus on engagement with the community and bringing people to the academy that haven't been here before, or maybe people that have not been here in a while, right? So, opening our doors, inviting people out to come be part of it. When we host guests and they see what football game days are like here, they come back and they're willing to make that investment because they want to be part of that. And, I think we've got great tradition here. But for us, it's about building on that, right? It's about taking the success that we're having now, continuing that upward trajectory of success and continuing to play and compete at a high level. But for the things that we can control in terms of the game day experience, we want that to be the best it can be for everyone that attends our events. And that's true for things even beyond Air Force football.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, this is going to be big for the school. I loved it. Just as a funny aside, Matt, just for you, I liked when you listed weddings as one of those things that could be attended there. Just as a little personal story, I was actually married inside Folsom Field when they first developed event space, so I highly recommend it. Checking out the Air Force Academy as a stadium for an event now, because it was first class when we did it in Folsom.
Hey, if somebody's going to have to be first, Tony.
Yep.
I'm not saying it's going to be you. It could be you again, right?
We would have to have some discussions with my wife on that one. I don't want to get into that one, Matt.
Rick, is your daughter going to hold off for a little bit and get the special?
Hold on a second. If that's an option,
yes, that's what I was thinking.
I'm giving the wife the divorce papers in the morning, and then we'll just get married again.
There you go. Rick will be first, Matt. How does that sound?
Hey, listen, you can pay for just about anything in this world.
That is true. Hey, Matt, we're not going to take any more of your time. I just got to know a couple things. First and foremost, are you going to be in Annapolis this weekend? You talked about your Broncos stuff on Sunday.
Can you hear?
Hey, Rick, ask me that question again. I lost you there.
Okay. I was just wondering, are you going to be in Annapolis this weekend? Because I know you got your Broncos stuff coming up on Sunday.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well,
Sink Navy, man. We'll be there.
Sink Navy. We'll see you there, Matt. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate the opportunity. And, let's keep this thing rolling. Let's go Falcons.
Absolutely.
Go Falcons. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your service. It makes so much more sense when you hear about, hear from Matt, hear from others when they're talking about the development of the state and what it could mean to recruits, this team as a whole. I see this really benefiting the Falcons going on forward. It's kind of like when CU got their new champion center in 2016. I feel like it's that kind of level. Maybe not the same kind of scale, but it's that kind of level, and it's newer, so that they can take advantage of having less space, or a little less of here and there, whatever it is.
In that venue, that venue's perfect for that kind of project.
Oh yeah,
so.
Yeah, exactly. So guys, I only have a few minutes.
Okay,
why don't we get into my score predictions really quick, and then I can let Rick go off and talk about everything Air Force from that game. But I will say to all of those fans that I met in Colorado Springs, truly, I feel blessed to have met all of you. It was such a cool experience. And for you guys to welcome me into that Air Force family and have so many of you come up and be like, oh, my God, we know you from the podcast. It warmed my heart. So thank you to all of you that came up and said hi. I really, really appreciate it. Fort Collins, I'm expecting the same out of you when we head up there at some point, okay? You got big shoes to fill.
Yes.
So when I'm looking at that first game, let's take a look at our newly ranked Air Force Falcons. I see, again, a pretty big spread and a pretty low over-under. What that says to me is that Air Force is going to score a lot, and Navy's not going to score very much. So I have Air Force winning the game 28-10.
Nice.
When I look at the other game, I'm going to have to do this purely because blood is thicker than water. I am going to have to go with UNLV because that is my brother's alma mater. Wow. I see an 8-point spread. I see a team that is finally 5-1 for the first time since the mid-'80s. Yes, we've been talking about a lot of UNLV football in my family, and I see a high-scoring game happening again. So I have UNLV, unfortunately, taking it 42-30. You guys have a great day. I appreciate all you do. Rick, thank you again. I cannot express my gratitude for what you gave me on Saturday. I loved every minute of it. So thank you, guys.
You have a good rest of your week. I will be in North Carolina next Tuesday when we go live again, and I'll give you the play-by-plays from St. Navy.
That's awesome.
I love it. All right, Tony, we'll see you a little bit later. Rick and I are going to finish up here, and thank you so much again.
Awesome. Have a good day, guys.
See you on X or Twitter.
Sounds good. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Rick, I have to ask about one thing. Tell me about this. There was a punt. Can you just tell me about some punts that happened with Air Force?
Well, that ties right into my game recap. So, as most of us are aware by now, Air Force won a hard-fought battle, 34-27, this past Saturday, and Wyoming got out to a 14-0 lead, and what we were doing was not working. We did make it 14-7. And things were looking a little more favorable. We were stopped on a 3rd and 3. We actually lost, I think, a couple yards. So that brought us to 4th down. And the last time I'd seen a fake punt by the Falcons was in October of 2022. Make that 2021 at Canvas against your CSU Rams, and that was effective. On Thursday, Coach was having a conversation with his daughter, Amelia, who goes to Texas Christian University, and she said, "Hey, Dad, isn't it about time to run a fake punt?" And of course, according to Troy's wife, he said, well, that's probably not going to happen. Well, it happened, and it was successful. Owen Burke took the ball and ran it down to about the 6-yard line. We scored a couple plays later, and it really kept us in that game. Absolutely. Thanks for bringing that up.
You need those moments, and it's great when it comes from your daughter. Let's say for some reason it's just going to make you feel more comfortable than let's say your bookstore guy or whatever. Just when it's from your daughter, you kind of coach her up with what you've done. I think that's really fun. Honestly, it's a good way to keep the family, involved with the team, and yet they're not so attached though at the same time. I really like the
yeah, she was cute. She did take a little bit of credit for that. So, and the rest of that game was about
for the ball.
Yes. The rest of that game was about some other key plays. The one we're going to bring up because we're going to talk about it when we're previewing Navy is Zach Larrier, who played a great game as usual. Zach was injured late in the game.
Do you have any update there?
Well, I officially can't say a lot. However, Coach actually beat me to the punch. Coach announced about 90 minutes ago that Zach does have an injury that's significant enough to keep him out for a while. So we will be talking about and seeing Jensen Jones make his first start, it looks like. Jensen came into the game after Zach was hurt. First play in the game, he hands off to Emmanuel Michel, fumble. We get the ball back. The next play of the game, Zach lands on top of an offensive lineman, and they made a good play. They took the ball out. So those two plays are not indicative of the kind of athlete and leader that Jensen Jones is. What's indicative of Jensen Jones is towards the end of the game, making a clutch pitch to John Lee Eldridge for a 58-yard walk-off touchdown. I say walk-off because it was over shortly after that.
Right.
Also, upon stopping Wyoming on 4th down, we get the ball back, and Jensen runs 13 yards for a key first down, and we were able to run the clock out after that. You throw those events in, and a clutch blocked extra point by the Mountain West Player of the Week, Trey Taylor, when it would have been 28-27. Trey gets his first block since middle school, as he tells everybody. And that changed the momentum, and we were able to get a hard-fought victory over a tough Wyoming team who I would imagine will probably see in the Mountain West Conference Championship.
So you're that confident? Wow! So you think they're going to meet up again? That's what I would assume.
It's highly likely at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I would be all for it. I mean, to have a few games with it's just nice to have a few games against the same team and see how they develop over that season and time. Because those teams from game one to where they are now are night and day. They have nothing to do with each other at this point, really.
Yeah, definitely. And who knows what this team or their team is going to look like, in December.
I did have a question for you about Jensen Jones. Do you believe, just from some of the things I was watching, he's a guy who can hold on to the ball very long before he pitches it out, excuse me. Do you think that's one of his kind of skill sets that he has? He can pitch it at the last second, so there's more opportunity for the running back to have a wide open space?
The thing I see in Jensen Jones's play, and that I'm personally very familiar with this young man. Jensen is a guy 6'2", 6'2.5", 215, as opposed to Zach, who was a little slider build, speedster, 6 foot, 185. Jensen is built for a service academy game. He's very stout. He's very muscular. In just 31 carries in his Air Force career, has 190 yards, over 6 yards a carry. When he is in his zone, he can move the ball. Every touchdown that he's gotten when he's played is a combination of a long drive, pushing straight ahead like we'll need to do against Navy, and he can throw the ball. We have never seen it in a game, but I've seen it in multiple practices and have participated, though I can't catch. So
I know we were pushed here for time with you, but I do have another question. In terms of Air Force, what are your thoughts of their ability? Are they going to pass the ball any different? Is there what's going to change here essentially besides the quarterback? Really, I think they do the same. I think they run the plays the same essentially. This team doesn't change much, really.
No, there's coach will tell you, and I can concur that there is not a different game plan for Jensen or the guy behind Jensen, Ben Britton. This is Air Force football, and we're gonna run it down your throat.
Gotcha. Yeah. Why don't we do a little switch on over to CSU real quick? Is that cool with you?
Hey, it's me and you, baby.
So CSU comes down with the win there. Obviously, one of the big play that everyone saw was the Hail Mary. It was a very special play. Like you were saying, that was a walk-off because literally 0 seconds left, 0-0-0, make that extra point, and it's over, and they did. So for me, that was a very exciting play, but it's not really indicative of what CSU can do normally. I think that CSU needs to be a little bit more, get to that fast pace a little bit more, use that Fort rate offense, and just honestly attack these defenses. With BFN at this point, he's the only player really to get the ball moving down the field. Him and Horton, him and Brown, those kind of guys have really been moving the ball well, and it doesn't seem like the running game is going to get working at all really here. Have averaged 2 yards per carry. You can't have that in a college game. There's too many wide open spaces. Really, it really is where you should be able to gain some more. And that's, again, including some quarterback runs that were successful.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we were in UNLV last year at Allegiant Stadium. This is a beautiful venue for your Rams. I really believe this will give Horton an opportunity to stretch his legs, so to speak, play on an NFL stadium where he will be playing next year, and just shine. I'm excited for the Rams.
Yeah, it feels good to be excited about them as well, though. It's been a long time. It's CU and CSU. I mean, we have been through this, you and I probably. I mean, not together, but it's been long. It's been a long search for someone to be stable, and it just feels good to be stable. So, it's a great time though right now for us, and I am interested in UNLV. I do think that they're like Tony was saying. There is a lot going on there in terms of their spread kind of pro style offense, though. It's interesting. It's a pro style spread. So I've never really seen that. So I do want to, watch it next game and see what that really encompasses.
Should be a great one. I'm really looking forward to watching that. I've got an early game this weekend, so I will definitely keep an eye out and see how the Rams are doing.
Yeah. And let me ask you real quick about Navy. How important is that game for recruiting just normal recruits to want to go to, let's say, West Point, whatever you want to talk about, not even getting rid of football? How important do you think that is, where they see that camaraderie and all those different things going on?
Typically you've got somebody who wants to be a service athlete. It kind of filters down, and most every guy that I've talked to on Air Force was offered by Army and Navy. So you got a group of kids that got to make a decision. And why wouldn't you want to go with the 21-time Commander-in-Chief Trophy champion Air Force Falcons? Because I'll tell you what, we sell ourselves, and I won't devalue those other institutions. They're equally as important in the big scheme. But if you're talking about athletics, you got to look at Air Force football.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's one of those things that's, going to happen a little bit more, that people are going to be watching it. I think it's attendance when this gets finally built. For me, for some reason, it felt like it was so far out there. Maybe it was the last time I went to a game. I was younger, and time was different for some reason as a kid. But going to the game and practices with you currently, man, does it have a great vibe. It feels so great to be in. I see why a student would want to go there versus, hey, they have options at Harvard too, full rides. But you go there, everything you need is there presented for you, and that it's going to make you a better person at the end of the day, and you will leave with a job that's going to be also successful for you in the long term. So I'm more and more impressed by Air Force every day. It's one of those things. It just is natural, though. I can't help it. It's one of those things where I think about it. I think about them a lot. So,
me too.
Well, I know you do, but it's one of those things where it's nice to have a secondary team that I'm able to root for in terms of it's just nice that way and not have the crazies come out or anything like that.
Definitely.
All right, so why don't I do my prediction when it comes to UNLV versus CSU. I kind of agree that this is going to be a high-scoring game. I don't think the defenses are, CSU's defense has not performed very well, and we've kind of seen that. So for me, I have to go with actually. My heart says CSU, but the truth is UNLV is going to win this game, and so I'm just going to be truthful. UNLV 34. Hey, this air raid offense is doing well. 31-24.
Okay, I like what you're thinking. I was the only person on this pod last week to correctly predict CSU over Boise State. I got, I really want to say CSU, but I'm with you. I'm gonna go a little bigger number. I'm gonna do 38-28. UNLV.
It's one of those things where, again, the heart. I want this team to do well. I really do, and I believe in this coaching staff. But they're coming up against a big team, and they're looking to advance themselves into the top 25, possibly.
Definitely.
All right. Anything else did I miss? I usually miss a few things.
No, I like it. We have our numbers. We just got one more quick game, and we'll be done. All
right, let's do this game. What game we got left?
Air Force and Navy. Have you heard of it?
Yes, I have. Yes, of course. This is a game that I cannot wait to watch. I think this is going to be. I'm very excited to see the back and forth. I'm almost more interested in the pageantry around it than the game itself, which is kind of crazy. So for me, this is going to be a great game. I don't know what Navy is bringing into this into this game at this point. Did they move to a more pass style friendly system? Do you know?
Not really. I mean, they'll say they are passing a little more than normal. Split back set. They got a fourth year starter at quarterback. They are 3-3 on the year. They had, this is a good matchup for both teams, I believe.
Yeah, then maybe this will be closer than I thought originally as well. Then, but yeah, when it comes to Air Force versus Navy, I have Air Force doing the job, getting that check mark for week 7, 7-0. It's that simple. It's going to be another one of these games where I feel like someone takes a big play at the end of the game and they kind of seal the deal. So for me, I'm feeling that Jensen Jones is going to be pumped up and ready to go, and he's going to get his guys on the same kind of point. I have the Air Force scoring 40-35. Navy.
Okay. Well, that
it's out there. It's out there.
So here's what I think. First and foremost, throw out the record. Service Academy games, 90% of the time hit the under. This is a deal where you got the second-ranked defense in the nation. You've got, an offense in the middle of the pack. You've got a new starter at quarterback. You've got, like I said, you've got a fourth-year starter at Navy. I feel this could be a close game. I think we're kind of at the pinnacle of the season where if you're looking for, a game that you might get tripped on, this is the scenario that would occur in. So I'm going to say the United States Air Force Falcons 20 and the Naval Midshipmen 17. I don't know that it's going to be a game-winning field goal, but I think a field goal from Matt DePore probably is the distance on this one. I hope it's a little bit more wide open, but it typically isn't in a service academy game. So it's going to be fun. I will be there. And, I can't tell you how proud I am of this team. And I think it's going to be a good one. And I agree with you. Jensen Jones is made for this moment. And he's been waiting, no, he would have rather not play this year. He's that good of a team guy, but he's ready.
I love it. It sounds like our guys are ready. And are you ready to get out of here?
Yes, I am.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching us. It was a pleasure speaking with you. Again, go all Colorado sports and just have a great rest of your day.
Absolutely. Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Go and try your luck. Touch me in again, we let it rain. Please don't start us up. Got that black and white, that yin and yang. Mr. Officer, please don't search us, we don't